is going to be a bit easier actually, because I'm not using my engine and stuff for the pump off, so you'll be able to see this a lot easier now than what in that last video, so just watch. Now, see, it's quieter, you can hear me. Now I did undo these things, but when I was checking my hose I did notice that this was gone. Somebody got carried away when they cleaned this off, so I've got to get a new internal ring for that. So I need, right, you need a couple of these, this, plus I need a replacement plastic ring. So I've got one in there, should have. Okay, I'll change that in a minute. Let me just get a different hose in a minute, just for working. Right, so get over here. Thank you. Right, which one are we doing? This one, right. That's what it should look like that, clear. Now the easiest way to get these off here is hold on to the two lugs. Pull. Now, put it on the floor and keep pulling like that. Let it come out, grab. Don't let these things hit the ground, because this is aluminium and you will damage the ends of this hose. So, right, one there. Right, we're going into this one. So I need the reducer and the socket, and I'll come back to this hose. That's why you need to inspect your hoses. Right, we need one bucket. Where's my reducer? Oh, this. One reducer, one coupler, like so. Again, you're checking for the rubbers, make sure everything is good, because if not you're going to get a leak, and leaks ain't good. So the best thing to do as well, I've noticed, when you're trying to tighten up, just tighten them both at the same thing, because sometimes if you angle one all the way, that one can be a sod. So, but we need this, we need a plug and a cap for when we finish. We need a bucket to blow the air. Right, that's your plug, cap, bucket. Now we need, I got keys to that. Keys, which was on my paperwork, because if this key doesn't fit, then you know you're going to the wrong tank. So just for safety's sake, we don't want any reactions. So let me get my stuff. This one. Did he give me the wrong key? Yes, he has. silica. Load your silica. Why is this padlock not working? Crazy. Right, that's locked. That should be open. The right key, it's the right product, it's the right tank. Load your silica. TK50115. Third one down, colloidal silica, 50115. Colloidal silica. So we've got the right one, but for some reason this lock, which feels like a cheap lock, should open. Golly. Okay. Told you it's the right one. Right, let's just free this up a minute. There shouldn't be any in this because this has been should have been blown. Yep, see, dry. But don't take any chances. Again, this one is going to be clear purely because I know, because I had this trailer loaded and we loaded through the top. So normally what you would do, I always leave the seals here just in case you want to double check. What you normally would do is take this out and blow the line. Make sure that's water, but that's what you would normally do if you weren't sure how this was loaded. But I know it was loaded through the top, so I'm good. But just for showing things, that's what you would normally do. You would bleed it, clear it, everything's good. Right. Right. Whoa, hold on. That's better. Hold on. Right, that nut needs tightening. So, we're going to use the hose to do it. That's done. So, don't need any spacers in that, but same as before, grey tape. We don't pay for this, we just pick it up free from the OC. Roll over the end, so when you want to finish you just like that. So, done. Right, next one. Again, you're checking for the washer. Right. So, same as before, to stop it from spinning, we use these seals that are readily available at the Schneider yard. So we go from this to this, push it in there, re-tighten. Now that ain't going nowhere because that's solid. Then we're putting this end in. Again, you're checking for washers, making sure you got washers. Halfway, halfway. Okay, that's good and tight. So same as before, tape up the ears so we don't get any blowout. Right, done. Right, that's all connected. Now we're going to use their air, which is regulated. It's got a regulator there. So let's go up here. I will take my hammer. Now, I don't know if you noticed, these hammers are rubberized because of what we deal with. We can't be creating sparks. Now, there's two ways of connecting this. You can either connect to this one, which is not a problem, but I'll show you the other way and some of the things you've got to do when you're doing this. Right. Now, the thing I do, and it's just me, wrap it through here and wrap it around again, right? Why do you do that? Well, I'll tell you why I do that. Because if I'm working down there and this thing lets go, if it wasn't wrapped around that, it would just fly out everywhere. At the moment, it's got a brake, because that stops it. You know? But, same as when I tighten this trailer, I always do it the same way every time. I go to the back of the trailer, I go past the crash box, I go to the front of the trailer, then I come back to the center. So right, and you're checking to make sure, obviously the hose open because I just opened it. Locked, everything's sealed. That's the blow-off valve. 30 psi, is it 35 psi? That will let go before anything else does up here. It's just a safety thing. So now making sure nobody's around. Drop the hammer down there. Right, checked everything. We're connected. Again, I open up everything straight away. Let the pressure build up. Rather than building it up, then open it, just in case we have a problem. So, if you see that valve there, you see it going up? Right, once it reaches this level, you don't need to go, because that's when you start rupturing all the washers in there. That's when you get problems. Then you're going to double check that's tight, that nut is tight, which has got packing in there. Everything's good. Now they got two valves here. They got the valves here so they can divert it as well to drain out if there's a problem. So we're going to go 1, 2. Right, their valve's open. There's nothing in that line. Now there's something in the line. It's not going to go anywhere because it's not under pressure yet. It's just gravity. Now, see, preset. You can regulate it more, but no, that's an acceptable one. So, air's going up there, and this tank has got, we're about 2/3 full. So if you look where the steps are, that's about where the level is. It says 7,000 gallons. Yes, you'll take 7,000 gallons, but not on my truck you won't, because I'll be completely over the weight. It's not a temperature control, but this is sitting at 75 degrees. God. So let's see if we're moving. It generally takes, depending on the thickness of the product, you can feel it moving. Depending on the thickness, it can take about 5 or 10 minutes before it's running at maximum pressure, but it gives me time to look for any problems. So we're testing for leaks. None. You're always testing the bottom. Right, everything's good. So now, valve is still up, everything's good. So we're running. So let's put this back. Oh, where's my tape? Where's my tape? I like coming to these ones at times because it gives my truck a break rather than keep running and running and running. And she is a good truck. So everything's good. What I will do though is let's go in here a minute. Because in here is water. Stay hydrated. Always stay hydrated. Yep, I'm going home next week, so this poor lady's going to get a wash. Now what I do as well is I'm trying to stay fit, so I'm always looking around if there's any problems, cleaning off stuff, rather than be that person that just sits on their ass in the truck. I like to get out and move, see if there's something I missed earlier on, like all this bloody salt. So done. Oh, you can taste it in the air. Right, she's good. That's running. But like I said, I keep moving. I'm looking for stuff. I'm just moving. Because you'll be surprised how much you can walk. Just staying out here, just checking on everything from the safety point of view. Yep, you wouldn't believe it, I just had a lot of this renewed, but in some other videos I'll show you what the other stuff does, because obviously we've got HIT lines. See that? Those two levers going around, stuff like that, that connects to these two connections. So my truck can heat this trailer up to a certain level, unless we've got to take it like super steamed or something like that, then no, we won't, because if you discharge that heat back onto your engine, you'll cook your engine. Spare air hose just in case there's a problem and we need extra airline, you know. Somebody was saying to me as well in the video, why is the pump and everything over here? Because over this side, this comes to Schneider first of all like this, with an electric APU. That's why the pump is always on the other side, because this comes from the factory with that on there. So then Schneider connect your pump, which is a PTO, into the drive, and then everything else works over this side. Compressor, so I can do air offs or pump offs. Pump offs is less violent because it's just suction and blow on that end, whereas that is under pressure. But getting back to that, yeah, so if you're out here, doesn't matter who you work for, if you're dealing with airlines, watch for that, because the problem is if that was connected, that will weep and then it will just blow. And once you've got metal on metal, you know as well as I do, that's no seal, so it ain't gonna work. So now we're still just looking. And another thing, I will show you another thing actually. In that last video, you've seen me putting my hands around these stuff. Now what we're doing is, at the moment, I got my gloves on, so my hand is hot. Now I'm testing for air. That's why we're taught to do this, because you're testing for air. Because if there's any leaks, it's going to find it quick. So you're just checking for air. That's why we check around the crash box. You check anywhere where you could get a leak. Same with this one. Nope. So we're sealed up, because obviously now this is one massive aerosol can. So you can imagine if you pierced an aerosol can, we all know what happens then. That's why these welds and everything are checked. If you look on a trailer, DKI, she was tested in October 22. They test them, they'll pressure test these and hold them under pressure for a certain length of time to see if there's any air leaks, because obviously behind all this, because this is only thin, behind that is insulation, behind that is a steel tank. It looks ugly, but that's what they have to check, the welds, the way it's produced and stuff like that. So, because you don't want one of these things going off. So again, we're looking, no leak. I touch it because you can feel the fluid going through. That's why sometimes you'll just see me doing it, because I'm just wanting to feel what sort of pressure is coming through this. Now this is showing you she's at, that says 12, but it's going to be higher, because by the time it's hit this vapor valve, this vapor recovery, the pressure is different inside that thing. It's not as powerful as it is in the rest of the trailer. But again, we're looking everywhere. So she's dry, so everything's sealed up properly. I think what I'll do now is I'll shut this off. Once she's offloaded, I'll show you how we break this down and then we can go. So, see you in a minute. Here's another thing to think about. Now this air is forcing this out. Now we are going into third one down, 50115. So this is going round here, up there, through that pipework system. Then we are going through here, up there, across to that one, to this tank. It's just best to know where you're pumping into or airing into. Yeah, watch for that, that's hot steam. So, there we are, 50115. Now this is 20,000 gallons. There was 5,000 gallons in already. I'm putting in about the same actually. So there's been 10,000, so it should be half full. So by the time I finish, it's going to be there. The good thing about that is, when this blows through, I can leave that air blowing out for a certain amount of time anyway, and not worry that it's going to blow out the sides, prop it up or whatever. So it's just best to know what you're pumping into, just for useless information. But I like to know. I like to know if there's a problem, I can go and find it. So, but anyway, we'll come back to this once this is completely off. Then, like I say, you'll see how we break it down, get it out of here and get gone. So until then, I'll see you then. I do want to say one thing though. This can get dangerous. Now if you look at it, you look at some of those products, whether it be acids, chlorides, that's why they're all got different locks on it. If your key doesn't open your lock, it's because you're messing with the wrong padlock. The problem is, if I pump that into one of these others and we had a big chemical reaction, you might even have an explosion, whatever, because of reaction to the chemicals. So that's why there's a safety aspect with padlocks, telephone numbers, emergency, chemical spill, the control room, which is where I went up, which is up there. Knowing where your washes are, they're simple to use, like that. Same with that one, that's your eye wash. Just know where this stuff is when you're working on a site, because you might need it. That one's obviously if you got sprayed with acid, if there was a pipe let go or whatever, you get under that thing, you get that stuff off you quick. Same way as if you got stuff in your eyes, that's there just to try and wash it out your eyes as best as you can. So it's just know your surroundings when you're working in a place like this, because there's so many things that can go wrong, and people have had accidents, you know. So it's just food for thought. Right, she's empty. I've just seen that move. Right, that's fresh air. Now what we're going to do, I'm leaving it open because it's going up there, across there, it's trying to build up there, across, down into that tank. So we're going to shut the air off. Right, that's the air off. It's still running, I know. Then we're going to go up here and shut the air off here. Leave that for a minute. Come back down. Now this one's got a discharge. So right, now there's no air in this line. Shut this off for a minute. Come back to that in a second. We're letting it skim down, but this stuff is really fluid. When I say skim down, it's everything, when it gets compressed to the sides. Now the air's off, this should start draining down here. Now we got a higher fifth wheel. There's a lot of van drivers, flatbeds, you've got a much smaller fifth wheel. Ours is much higher, so it throws the trailer backwards. So, go back up here. See, no air. Now again, I see people throwing these down. Don't, because these Chicago fittings go under a lot of pressure. Just do it like this. Now it's down on the deck. I'm letting it discharge because I know that this product, when I open it up, there's going to be nothing coming out. It's about knowing your different jobs that you go to. Now, I've been to this one enough times, I know how this place works. Go on, go up. Right, that's fully up. Now you can hear that's just air. That's just pouring out air. Again, we'll give it a few minutes just to make sure that line is all the way blown, all the way along there, across there, down there. And like I said, it's only halfway in that tank, and the tank is vented, so there's no way I could discharge all this air in there, because it's going to blow, just blow the air straight out. But I've got the top open, so it's going to discharge quick. But what we're going to do is tone this down a little bit. Now we're going to shut this off, then we're going to go back and shut the internal valve off. So, right. Now remember, this is under pressure. So don't do anything stupid yet, because you'll regret it. So let's make sure that one's off. Right, these are all shut off. So now what we're doing is gonna open this up, and you're gonna put the bucket away from your face. So any blowout of that, see, it's like water. It's one of the thinnest products we move. It's a lot easier to work with. So connect back up, then tape I'm leaving there because I put it in their bin over there. So now it's not a race. Done. Right, so put the cap on there. That's why I say get things ready for when you're finished, because that, boom. Ooh, sorry. Then, same with this. Tape. Just take your time. Then what we're going to do here is take this one off first. You're looking for their cap. Move the thing, get in there. Right, then we're going to break this fitting down. Then we're going to take the coupler out. Put that on. That's how I normally do it. If I'm dropping one of these hoses, I put my foot underneath so it doesn't have an impact on the concrete. Because like I said, it's aluminium. So, let's put this away. Take that back to the tank wash for tomorrow. Well, they're not open tomorrow, so it'll have to be getting done Monday. But that's fine, because it's just fluid. It's not like polymer. So we're going to put things back the way we found them. As my mother would tell me, you didn't find it like that. So just make it all tidy for the next guy that's going to come here, whether it's a Schneider tanker driver or whoever. Right, that's done. Same thing as I always say, we're picking it up there and we're picking it up there. That way we're not dragging this hose. Then another thing, you got an external cap and an internal cap. If you look at that, those come backwards, those go forward. So when you're putting a hose on there, I suggest you do it this way. There's no way then of knocking these over and opening them up. In like so. These I've got to change because they're getting salty and horrible. That simple. It's just about, like I said, take your time. It ain't a race. Checking everything's good. All shut. Oh, still open. Right, let's use this fantastic padlock. God damn it. Oh, this will be the death of me, this one. Get the bloody thing out. Golly. Oh, that's a plastic thing. Anyway. That's me done. So that's how we do it, and I'll catch you next time in Pennsylvania.